Hello, my name is Danny. I'm with the Nashville Public Library's Digital Inclusion team. In today's video, we're going to look at how to use Overdrive on a computer. This video will cover what is Overdrive, why would you want to use Overdrive, what do you need to access Overdrive. Using Overdrive on a computer, we will access the Nashville Public Library's website. We will sign into Overdrive. We will select a book. We'll check that book out. We'll customize our reading experience. And of course, we will return the book when we are finished. What is Overdrive? Well, Overdrive, it's a free service offered by the Nashville Public Library. Your library card is your account. You check out ebooks and audiobooks, ebooks being electronic books that you can read on a digital device. Audiobooks are books you can listen to. You can use your computer to access the Nashville Public Library's website, or you can download apps using Windows 10 computers, a Kindle Fire tablet, an Android device, or an iPhone or an iPad device. Today we will use Windows 10 computer. You can access Overdrive 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Why would you want to use Overdrive? Well, first of all, it's easy to use. You can access the library when it's closed. You can check out materials through the internet. You can use filters to find what you're looking for, such as categories. Do you like mysteries or adventure or romance? Filter by those categories. You can filter by age appropriate. Do you want books for adults, or do you have juveniles or children in the house that you might want to search for a children's book or a juvenile book? You can select by your preferred format. Do you like to read books? Then you can filter by ebooks that you would read, or if you like to listen to books, you can filter by audiobooks. Of course, you can return the book as soon as you're finished, which is a nice feature. It allows others to be able to check the book out sooner, or when your loan is expired, it will automatically return. New books, new ebooks and audiobooks are regularly being updated, and there's no need to physically go to the library, which is a really nice feature in this day of social distancing and safer at home. From the comfort of your home, as long as you have internet, you can access the library and enjoy a great selection of books. So what do you need to use the Overdrive? Well, first of all, you need a device. We are going to be using a computer with Windows 10 on it. You're going to need the internet to access the library's website and download the book. The nice thing is, once you have downloaded the book, then you could go sit under a tree somewhere that doesn't have internet if you have a laptop and read or listen, but you wouldn't use the internet to check the book out or return the book. You would need the Overdrive app to search the books and download them. You would need a library card. And on the back of the library card is going to be your library card number. And then you would create a unique PIN number, which serves as your password. It keeps your account private and personal and others out. Using Windows 10, we would start by clicking on the search or the start icon. It would pull up, and you might have to scroll up and down to find the Microsoft Store, but you would click on the Microsoft Store. That will open up the store. You can scroll around and look for Overdrive, but I find that clicking on the search and then typing in Overdrive would bring up the Overdrive app. And then once I find the Overdrive app, I can click on it and then simply click on Get to download the app, and it will start downloading and installing. This will take just a couple of minutes depending on the speed of your internet. It doesn't take very long at all. When it's finished, it says this product is installed and you are ready to click on Launch. Now when you click on the Launch, it will start loading. You may get a couple of screens comes up. It typically opens in minimized format, meaning it's not doing the whole screen. The first thing I like to do is to make it bigger so it's easier to read. So just like all of the other programs, the little box right there, if I click on that, it expands it, maximizes it. So now I have a nice big screen to read from. I come up, I click on Have an Account. I'm ready to sign in because if I already have a library card, I'm ready to go. If I don't have a library card, I can click on Sign Up or go to the library's website and get a digital card. Our example, we already have a card. We're going to click on Have an Account, Sign In. It comes to the Sign In page. We're going to sign in with our library card. It takes us to Find Your Library. We're going to type Nashville so that it will go out and search. Once we've typed in Nashville, type Go. It will pull up a list of libraries, and you're going to select Nashville Public Library. That will bring you to the Sign Into the Library screen. From here, on the back of your library card is your number. Just type that in. No spaces, just type in all the numbers, and then click on Pen and type in your PIN number, and then type Sign In. It will have added the Nashville Public Libraries to your bookshelf. You're now at your bookshelf, and you will see Add a Library in Nashville Public Library because you just added that one. Click on that. It will take you into the Nashville Public Library's website, and you are ready to go searching. But the first thing we want to do is we need to sign in one more time. If we click on Sign In, it's going to open up a screen for us once again to put in our library card number and PIN number. Now you might ask, why do we have to do that 2 times? Well, the first time was signing in through the Overdrive. Now we're signing into the library's website. You will not have to do that every single time unless you're on a public computer, then you would want to. If you're on your personal device, it will remember that. Type in your library card, your PIN number, and then click Sign In. It will bring you back to the library site's homepage. And what you will notice is instead of Sign Up, it now says My Account. Now there are some features under My Account. There's a little drop-down arrow, and if you click on the drop-down arrow, it will give you a menu of options. I've listed them over here, but it shows your loans, your holds. So books that you've already borrowed that you currently have, you can see, or books that are on hold for you to pick up, or your wish list, etc. I encourage you to explore those and see what's there and use them to customize your reading experience. But right now we're going to search for a book, and we will do that by clicking on Search and type in what you're looking for. Now I like detective books, mysteries, so I'm going to type in detective, and notice when I start typing detective, I type DETEC, and it started looking for things with that, and it brought up several detectives. Now I can keep typing the word detective and go search lots, or if I see something here, I can simply select on that. I see Detective Cross, so that looks interesting, so I'm going to click on Detective Cross, which will bring up the search results for anything with the word detective or cross in it. And I see a couple of Detective Cross books right here at the beginning of the search. But let's look at a couple of things right here. Do I want to read the book or listen to it? So I look right here, and this is an ebook, meaning this is a book that I would read on my device if I borrowed that book. Or if I borrow this book, it says audio, so that's a book I would listen to. So you want to select the format that you are preferring. If you like to read, you want an ebook. If you like to listen to it, you want an audio book. You'll also notice some say borrow, and that means that book is available for you to borrow right now. Or it may say place a hold, meaning all of the copies are checked out. And even though it's digital, we have X number of license per book, and they may all be checked out at the time. But you can click on place a hold, would put it in the hold pattern. The library will notify you when it is available. We're going to go ahead and borrow Detective Cross, the ebook. right here because it is available. And if we click on the book, it brings up our page for us to select that. And we could go ahead right here and click borrow, but I'm going to show you just a couple of more things. Maybe I'm not sure if that's the book I want. I can click on read a sample and it would just bring up 2 or 3 pages that I could read through to get a feel for the book. Or I can ignore that. It's just an option there. Below that is add to wish list or removed from wish list. So maybe it's a book that I am interested in, but like right now I don't want to read it for whatever reason. I'd like to read it later on. I can add it to my wish list as a reminder of, hey, that's a book I might like to read. Or next to it is add to history or remove from history, meaning maybe that's a book that I've already read and it wasn't in my history. I'd forgotten about it, so I can add it. Or it's a book that I don't know how it got in there, I can remove it. But we're going to borrow it by clicking on the borrow window, and it brings up the window to borrow it. But how many days do I want to borrow the book? I have the option. It defaults to 7, but there's a little drop down right there. If I click that, I have the option for 7 days, 14 days, or 21 days. So I can select to keep it out longer or less, depending on how fast I think I can read the book. We're going to click on borrow, leave it at 7 days, and click on borrow. And it says success. I have actually borrowed the book at this point, but haven't downloaded it yet. So here it's asking me, what format do I want to download in? I can download, in Kindle Fire format. So for those of you that may have the Kindle app, you could download it and it go to your Kindle app, but we're doing Overdrive. So for Overdrive, I want to download it in the EPUB format, and that will put it on my bookshelf in Overdrive. So if I click Overdrive or EPUB, it's going to download the book. It says Detective Cross has been added. And it asks me, do I want to go to my bookshelf or do I want to keep browsing? So at this point, I could go back to the library website but keep browsing and check out some additional books, or I can go to my bookshelf. We're going to go to our bookshelf. And when we click go to bookshelf, we're back to our bookshelf. And we see that Detective Cross has been added. Now, here it shows the book that I'm currently reading. Since I only have one book checked out, obviously that's the book that I would be reading, but it also next to it shows books on my bookshelf. If I had additional books, they would all show up over here under bookshelf with whichever book that I'm reading being over here. If I decided I wanted to go back and add an additional title, I can click there. It would simply take me back to the library's website to allow me to check out some additional books. Over here under My Libraries, we have Add a Library. Now, Add a Library would be useful if, let's say, you moved to another area and they had a library that you wanted to use and you got their library card. Overdrive works all across the country. You could add another library to it and use that library as well as the Nashville Public Libraries. And of course, this is the Nashville Public Libraries that we selected when we first logged on to Overdrive. So we can read our book until it expires. By the way, under the book, it will tell you how many days you have until it expires, and that will change each day. So you know how many more days you have to read the book. We're going to click on the book to read it. And when we click on it, it opens up just like in book format. Here's our cover, and usually inside the cover is a blank page. We navigate by turning the pages by clicking. Just move our cursor up there and click on it. As we click, it turns one page. With each click comes another page. And notice you can click high or low, and each page will turn with a click. Now I stopped on this page because up in the corner I have decided I would like to bookmark this page. And sometimes you may have something that you want to bookmark to refer back to. And by clicking in this little ribbon, it turns blue. And that means the page is now bookmarked. I'm going to turn one more page, and you'll see the next page is not blue, meaning that page is not bookmarked. All of the pages will look like this one until you bookmark them. And you can bookmark as many pages as you choose to, and they will turn blue. So that's how I bookmark the page that I would return to later on. And we'll look at that in a second. But what if I turn too many pages and I need to back up? So I simply click on the left side to go backwards, just like before. I can click low, high, anywhere in this area, and it will back me up one page per click. Now, you have full view to read, but there are some controls that we might want to access. And there are controls across the top and bottom. And if we click anywhere in this area, it will bring these controls up, top controls and bottom controls. And they will appear momentarily to give us time to click on them, and then they will, after about 2 or 3 seconds, they'll disappear until you click back in there. If we take a look at these controls across the top, the first one on the left, if clicking on that would take me out of the book back to the bookshelf. It just exits the book. Moving on across the top is the contents, table of contents. And clicking on that will bring up all of the chapters so that you could go to the chapter of your choice. Moving on across is details. Clicking on that will pop up a little short description of the book over there to allow you to read that. And then the last one is bookmarks. You remember that page we bookmarked earlier? By clicking on that, it will display here. And in this case, I have bookmarked 2 pages. I could bookmark as many pages as I want, and I would simply come here and click on that page, and it would take me directly to it if I wanted to refer back to it. Across the bottom is to go back. So if I suddenly went too far and I wanted to go back, I could click on that. And then in the center right here is a little navigation. This is previous chapter or next chapter. And in the middle is the little slider bar that shows me how far I'm progressing through the book. And it even tells me here I'm on chapter 2, page 2 of 2 in chapter 2. Moving on across is the settings icon. Clicking on that will bring up some settings. Here you can change the font or the size or the style, spacing, margins. You can change the background color. Some people at night like to have a darker background and lighter font. You can change those. I encourage you to come here and explore those. You will not hurt anything with anything you change. You're only changing the view of the book. So you're not deleting anything or hurting anything. This is how you customize the book for your reading experience. Making the font bigger so that it's easier to read. Or spacing, putting more space between the lines to make it easier to read. I encourage you to check that out. The last one, more, clicking on more, just shows some things that you might use there. My favorite one over here is the dictionary, because sometimes I'm reading a book and there's a word that maybe I should know, but I don't really understand what the meaning is. I can click on that word and it will take me to the dictionary to give me a definition, which is a really nice feature. So we're going to return out of the book back to the bookshelf. Here's our book. And the last thing we're going to look at is we're going to go ahead and return the book. So there are no controls in here, but if I click in this center area here, you'll notice when I click, up comes controls at the bottom, and right here is return book. Clicking on that will bring it up and ask me, do I want to delete and return the book or delete but not return? I typically want to delete and return. Delete but don't return would be used. You can actually download the book when you have it checked out on 2 different devices. So maybe you want to delete it off of one device but finish reading it on a second device. That's when you would use this one. When you're finished, you want to check delete and return, which will return the book back to the library for others to use, and it will disappear from your bookshelf. You are ready to enjoy the Overdrive app. I hope you enjoy your experience with the Overdrive. I know I sure do. Just to recap, we have covered what is Overdrive, why would you use Overdrive, what do you need to access Overdrive. We use the Overdrive app on our computer to download the app, sign into Overdrive, select the book, check the book out, customized our reading experience, return the book. If you have questions about Overdrive or any of our digital literacy products, or comments or input you would like to give us, we would love to hear from you. It is librarydigitalinclusion@nashville.gov. And that is library, L-I-B-R-A-R-Y, digital, D-I-G-I-T-A-L, inclusion, I-N-C-L-U-S-I-O-N, at nashville.gov. Notice capitalized, not capitalized is not important. This is an email address. As long as you type it with no spaces in the correct letters, we will get the email, and we would love to hear from you. This concludes this video on how to use Overdrive on a computer. I wish you much enjoyment with your Overdrive app, and thank you for joining us.